Good morning, it's Monday morning of Holy Week, and yesterday we met together for Palm Sunday online because of the coronavirus situation. But this week we're going to go through the story of Holy Week day by day, and we're going to start today on Monday with Mark chapter 11. So let's read that together. It says, the next day as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. And seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found nothing but leaves, because it was not the season for figs. Then he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. On reaching Jerusalem, he entered the temple area and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables and the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, "Is it not written that my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations? But you have made it a den of robbers." The chief priests and the teachers of the law heard this and began to look for ways to kill him, for they feared him because the whole crowd were amazed at his teaching. When evening came, they went out of the city. In the morning, as they went along, they saw the fig tree withered from the roots. Peter remembered and said to Jesus, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree you cursed has withered." When you see two stories like that put together, you know that their meanings interlock, their meanings. Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem from Bethany. It seems that through Holy Week every night he went out of the city and stayed at Bethany, presumably with Mary, Martha and Lazarus who lived there. And on the way in he sees this fig tree and lots of leaves, and he goes over looking for fruit, but he finds nothing. If you have a fig tree, you would know that the fig tree fruit starts very small and grows over a whole season. So the figs that are small this year will be mature next year. And when it says that it wasn't the time for figs, Jesus was looking and he couldn't even see the starting of figs. There wasn't any figs this year. There wasn't going to be figs next year at all either. And then we had the scene in the temple where he enters and he finds money changers and people selling doves. That's a practice that had not long started before Jesus. The Romans would have their coins with Roman emperors on and with their gods on, and the Jewish authorities didn't want to use them in the temple. So you could turn up and you could exchange your Roman currency for temple currency and put that in the offering. The problem was the money changers charged interest on that transaction. And then there were the people selling doves and other animals. They sold them for sacrifice because it was easier to go there and buy one of theirs than to bring your own. But with anything that's mass produced, the quality was not always there, and many inferior animals were sold there for an extortionate price to be given an offering. Some commentators suggest the priest may even have had a percentage from this income themselves. We don't know. But Jesus saw this as activity with no fruit. He gets angry, he turns the tables over, and he makes that comment from Jeremiah 7 that this is supposed to be a court or a temple for all nations. This was happening in the Gentile courts. They weren't able to worship. They'd made it a den of robbers. And what Jesus is saying here is that the temple is like the fig tree. There was lots of activity going on, lots of leaves, but there was no fruit, no spiritual fruit. And just as the end of that fig tree was coming because it was fruitless, so the end of the temple was coming. By the end of the week, Jesus would offer the final sacrifice and the temple would be obsolete. As we reflect on that, let's think about that, about leaves without fruit. Trees need leaves. At church, we need the activities, the events. We need the planning and the programs. But if that's all we have, we're producing leaves without fruit. the fruit of people meeting Jesus, confessing in testimony that He's their Saviour, seeing them baptised, becoming disciples, getting involved and serving in the church. We need leaves, but we need fruit as well. So as we enter this week, let's think about that. Let's have fruit as well as leaves.